In our discussion of personality, the second golden thread to personal achievement, we have talked about mental attitudes of positive thinking and about physical health through knowledge and care of the body. Now we come to the third element of personality, equal in importance to the other two. It is a strong will. How can you develop your willpower? If a man would move the world, he must first move himself, is a saying as old as ancient Athens. True, but how does a man mobilize his will? Let us right here see where you are as you have followed my discussions up until now. You have four things going for you. 1, you have ambition. 2, you want to improve yourself. 3, you are willing to do something about it. 4, you know the way. So far, so good. But these 4 need number 5, the willpower to control, discipline, and manage yourself, so as to turn your impulses into a definite program to which you will hold yourself until you reach your goal. Let me at once make this clear. The willpower required to carry you through can be developed. What is the will? It is to all our other faculties what a commander-in-chief is to the other members of his staff. When we have consulted all of our senses and weighed all considerations in our minds, there comes the moment when we have to decide. It is the will which says, this is the decision. It gathers together the whole man and sets him into activity. The will is the man is the will. The will is the whole man in action. This brings us to an important point. You cannot look anywhere except inside yourself for the will to shape your life the way you want it to be. Nobody outside can do it for you. It is your will, and your will alone, which can make you. This leads me to a definition. A man of will is a whole man concentrated on one achievement. You can develop such willpower by 3 stages: self-control, self-direction, and self-fulfillment. Self-control has 2 aspects: control of your thoughts, control of your temperament. I begin with control of your thoughts because the deepest level at which you confront yourself is in your mind. You can control your thoughts because there is one tremendous psychological fact which comes to your help. Your conscious mind can think only one thought at a time. Write that down and think it over. It is the master key to thought control. You can stand sentinel at the gate of your mind. Here are the 7 steps. 1, settle down to one piece of work, one project. 2, clear your mind of thoughts which do not apply to this one project. 3, concentrate on positive thoughts which constructively fit into this project. 4, as your mind warms up to its work, you will find it calling up new and deeper considerations and perceptions. 5, do this regularly, and you will develop the habit of concentration. 6, this in turn will materialize into positive plans of action. 7, these plans will crystallize into positive decisions, leading to constructive action. As you act, you will discover things about yourself. You may find that you are lazy, that you put things off, that you are moody, or that you do not handle people well. In other words, you will learn about your own temperament. The greatest way to control your temperamental difficulties is to act. When you take positive action, you will control your temperament and swing over to a positive attitude. If you get impatient with certain people, force yourself to act in a friendly way to them. Before you know it, you will be feeling friendly toward them. Remember that it is what you do that decides how you feel, not how you feel that determines what you do. Let your will dictate your action. Thus you will master temperament. Self-control is the first step, but it is not enough all by itself. It needs to be channeled into self-direction. Self-direction has 2 aspects: concentration on one goal and persistent progress toward that goal. Note particularly that I said one goal. Just as you can think only one thought at a time, so you can move in only one direction at a time. Decide what your goal is and let everything else go. Single-mindedness in our kind of world is absolutely essential to achievement and recognition. With your single goal in mind, map the path to it and make sure that every day you make some progress toward it. Your will must issue every day the order of the day. Get each day's work done. Make each day add its mile to your progress. Concentration on one goal, definite advance toward that goal every day. These are the elements of self-direction. As you exercise the will through self-control and self-direction, you will develop the habits you desire, and so will move towards self-fulfillment, which is the greatest of satisfactions. These are the steps by which this comes about. First, by exercising the will, you strengthen the will. Thus you develop reliable character and achieve your true self. Second, this true self of yours will more and more express itself as it develops. It will gain confidence, take the initiative, and find its own original ways of meeting new and old situations. Third, it will maintain itself against the world. You will dare to stand on your own feet, act on your own convictions, maintain your own dignity. Fourth, you will work with the world, secure in yourself, and recognizing that you must come to terms with the reality of the world in which you live. You will learn how to balance your personal desires against the necessities of living, and thus win success and fulfill yourself at the same time. So far, I have been talking about you and your personal development. I have given you the two golden threads to bringing out your own personal powers: persistence and personality. You are already practicing the 30-10 power formula. You know the three foundations of personality: mental alertness, physical health, and strong willpower. This completes the first part of our discussion, the part concerned with discovering and developing yourself. We now turn to the second part, how to live and work successfully with others. I call this part, how to turn personal power into sales power. Don't misunderstand the word sales. This section will certainly tell salesmen how to sell, but it contains a vital message for everybody, for it is concerned with how to get along with people and to win their cooperation. We all have to do this. In this sense, we are all salesmen. What is selling? It is applied psychology, psychology applied to human relations. Every one of us will have a fuller and happier life if we understand this psychology and apply it in our dealings with all the people we know. In its simplest form, selling means selling goods, products, or services. A salesman does this by understanding his customers and persuading them of the benefits they will derive from purchasing that which he has to sell. In its broader form, however, selling means winning the confidence of people and persuading them that they will benefit from association with you. At this level, salesmanship tells you how to conduct yourself towards those in your home and your friends so that you have good human relations all around. You can apply your personal power to your dealings with your wife, your children, and your friends, bringing happiness into all your associations with them. This section will tell you how. It will also tell you how to handle your relationships with those associated with you in your work and business in such a way as to have successful human relations. You may be a business executive dealing with subordinates. You may be a foreman directing a crew. You may be a clergyman serving the members of your parish. You may be a doctor ministering to your patients. Or you may be a worker doing your job alongside your fellow workers. In every case, you are meeting and dealing with human beings. The success of your work depends on the trust you win, the assurance you create, the confidence in your judgment and personality which your associates concede to you. In other words, your work and professional service will succeed in proportion as you sell yourself to others as one in whom they can believe. The principles of turning personal power into selling power are of immense importance to you. The key word here is perceptiveness. What I mean by perceptiveness is the ability to put yourself in the other fellow's shoes and to see him as he sees himself. It is the ability to sense the other fellow's reactions, to anticipate his desires, and to think his thoughts along with him. Ralph Waldo Emerson and his son once wanted to get a calf into a barn. The son pulled and Emerson pushed. The calf had other ideas. It stiffened its legs and refused to buzz. Emerson's housemaid, a farm girl, saw the scuffle. She had nothing like Emerson's powerful intellect, but she knew the ways of calves. She went out and, putting her finger into the calf's mouth, gently led him into the barn. This kind of calf sense is people sense too. We get them to go along with us when we perceive their desires and meet their impulses. You can develop this kind of perceptiveness. I shall show you how to do so. I am going to give you 6 questions to ask in any situation. As you find the answers to them, you will improve every human situation, anytime, anywhere. The Indians used to have a saying, "You are my friend when you walk in my moccasins." This ability to put yourself in the other fellow's shoes and to deal with him as you would like him to deal with you is the essence of perceptiveness. This is the key which will bring you success in dealing with other people. With it, you will win their cooperation and make them happy that they are dealing with you. There is no magic about how you do this. You do it by answering 6 questions, which are in the mind of every person to whom you are trying to sell an idea, a product, or yourself. They will not be in his mind in these words, but here are the 6 questions that you must answer. How can I profit? Why can I profit? Where can I profit? Who says I profit? What can I profit? When can I profit? Note these questions. Make them a part of your thinking about every human contact you have. In each question are two words, I and profit. These are the two words that are always in the mind of every person with whom you deal. You lead other people in the way you want them to go when you show them that this is the way by which they will benefit themselves and achieve their own desires. When you learn how to answer these 6 simple questions in terms of the other person's interest, you will have a powerful leverage upon his thinking. Furthermore, they will eliminate objections and resistances as you gain skill in their use. I am now going to ask you to work with me. So, get a pencil and paper ready. Within the subconscious of every human being, there is what we might term a profit nerve. Once you learn how to hit this nerve, the person to whom you are talking will react favorably to your ideas and suggestions. The powers of his subconscious motivation go to work for you. Fundamentally, there are only 2 reasons why anybody will do anything. 1, to gain a benefit. 2, to avoid a loss. Right now, write down the name of a person to whom you would like to sell your product, your idea, or yourself. Under the name you have written, now write, how can I profit? Draw a line perpendicularly down the middle of the paper. Head the left-hand side with the words benefits to gain and the right-hand side losses to avoid. Under these headings, in 1, 2, 3 order, list specific benefits your prospect will obtain or losses he will avoid by thinking and acting favorably to your ideas and suggestions. Now turn these specific listings into clear, concise, and convincing sentences, making each sentence an answer to the question, how can I profit? These are your power sentences. They will mean sales for you and more money, more prestige, more personal power. Do the same with losses to avoid. Often it is important to stress the losses to be avoided. I have never yet met a man who was not deeply and emotionally opposed to losing money or anything else of value. Show him how to avoid a loss, and you need have no worries about getting and holding his attention. In talking about losses, there are 4 power-packed words: protect, defend, safeguard, and keep. Use them when possible in your presentation. Whenever you sit down opposite a person to whom you are trying to sell an idea, a service, or a product, see written clearly on his forehead the question, how can I profit? Answer that question in every sentence you speak in terms of benefits to be gained or losses to be avoided. In practically every attempt to make a sale of any kind, you will run into excuses or reasons which your prospect will give you for not buying. There are 5 easy-to-apply rules which overcome resistance and at the same time help you gain respect and admiration for your tact and skill. They are: 1, treat every objection with respect, no matter how trivial it may seem to you. This will show the prospect that you respect his opinion. 2, keep cool, calm, and pleasant. If you lose your head, you lose control of the interview, and you lose the sale. 3, avoid arguments. Use the recognized but method. Say something like this: there is a lot in what you say, but I recognize the truth in your point of view, but, in other words, always agree before you disagree. 4, make your answers brief and to the point. A common fault among many salesmen is the tendency to string out their answers to a prospect's objections, instead of making them brief and to the point. A lengthy answer is liable to magnify, in the mind of the prospect, the importance of his objection. Bring out a sales point in your answer. After you have covered an objection, swing right into your sales presentation without hesitation and waiting for the prospect to think up another objection. Here's how a camera salesman did it. The prospect said, I like this camera, but there's no use buying it now. These winter days are too dark to get any good pictures. The camera salesman replied, it doesn't look too good with the dark days we've been having for the past week, does it? But now I'll probably give you a surprise, sir. A day like today is ideal for taking close-ups because of diffused light. You can make excellent pictures up to 3:30 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon of a day like this, right here in the city, and in the country where the snow is heavy. Then he went on to tell about the many interesting winter scenes, sports, and natural settings, all of them available only at this time of year. The prospect's main objection became this salesman's main selling point, which he used to close the sale. Try it yourself. After a little practice, you'll be amazed at how many times you will be able to do the same thing. As you practice answering the 6 perceptive questions we're discussing and the 5 rules we just reviewed, you will develop your own professional techniques to sell yourself and your products in all situations. And remember, it is what you do in the presence of the prospect that counts. Although you may know all about a product, Unless you can use that knowledge to effectively interest, impress, and favorably influence a prospect, it is of no value to you as a salesman. I started out in life with a firm belief that some men are born with an aptitude for selling, which was sure to win out in the long run. I found it difficult to give up that idea, but after many years of hiring, training, and working with salesmen in many lines, I know now that inherent ability or the lack of it is not the dividing line between success and failure in selling. Selling is a profession, as surely as is medicine, in which an individual succeeds insofar as he learns the particular techniques that apply to his own particular business. And when I say the technique that applies to his own particular business, I mean just that. General principles of selling are important, but they have to be sharply applied to your specific field. As an intelligent salesman, make it your business to apply the knowledge you gain from the 30-10 power formula and the lessons you learn in everyday experience to the particular kind of selling you have to do. This is important, and you will succeed directly in proportion to your willingness to concentrate on this task, to make yourself a master of your craft in your field. As you go about studying your own selling in order to improve it, be scientific in your approach. This means face the facts, then explore every fact to the limit. Follow facts wherever they may lead you. They may show you where you have been in error. Never try to correct the facts. Correct yourself. Don't rationalize. That is, don't satisfy yourself with finding excuses for your weaknesses or failures. You hate to admit you're at fault. So do I. I have worked with many salesmen over the years, and I have yet to hear one say, "Well, I muffed that one all by myself," and I have yet to hear myself say that too. We all look for and are ready to accept an excuse which flatters our vanity, rather than to face up to the real reason. But this helps nothing. Instead of excusing each failure, analyze it. Learn from your own experience in the same way a scientist learns from his experiments in his laboratory. Think honestly, and you will tend to think straight. Straight thinking is the foundation upon which rests creative thinking. Out of creative thinking will come initiative. You will dare to change. You will dare to improve. You will leave the crowded valleys of mediocrity and climb the heights of achievement. You will make tomorrow more productive than today because you will learn from today how to make it better. As you take the initiative with yourself, you will develop ingenuity in dealing with all kinds of situations. Through developing ingenuity, you will become a creative salesman. Creativity is a quality of mind that grows with practice. Through practice, you can create sentences that sell. Through study and practice, you will learn the words that move men to favorable action. You will discover the right combinations of words that cause them to respond. You will build up your own treasury of sentences, sentences verified in your own experience as the ones which best get your ideas across and persuade people to act with you. You will create visual presentations that win the consent of those to whom you appeal. Only a parrot says the same thing over and over again, just because it is said it once. A creative salesman edits and revises what he says until he has a presentation tested in experience and proved by results. And remember this, you never will reach perfection. You can always improve that which you are working on. By following the ideas and suggestions outlined in these records, you will create for yourself your own methods that sell. Your own personality will get into your selling. You will find what is for you the procedure which gets the most favorable responses in the maximum number of cases. You will create your own selling plan for your own maximum profit. I want now to bring you back to the 6 fundamental questions which are in the mind of every person to whom you may try to sell your ideas, your product, yourself. They are the means to persuade anybody to do what you want them to do. Persuasion consists in getting the consent of another man's will to the action you wish of him. The way to his will is his desire. The way to win his consent is to take him at his own evaluation and to organize your persuasion around his ambitions, not your own. The power to persuade is a great one and can win for you almost anything in the world. As you know, and I have said, the first question your prospect is asking is, how can I profit? Like you and me, he has 6 primary desires, 6 things he definitely wants to get out of any purchase or action. 1, he wants health. 2, he wants better relations with his fellows. 3, he wants prestige, a sense of personal importance. 4, he wants to make money and assure himself economic security. 5, he wants to work less and have more chance for pleasure. 6, he wants freedom from fear and worry. When you try to persuade him, aim your appeal to these desires. Emphasize the desire which you believe is strongest in him as an individual. This means selling your idea, service, or product in terms of what it will do for that particular prospect. You do not sell him just a house, but you sell him the comfort of his family and the standing in the community such a house will bring him. You do not sell an insurance policy. You sell the peace of mind such a policy will bring him and the security it holds for his loved ones. You sell your idea, service, or product in terms of what it will do for him, in terms of satisfying one or more of the fundamental desires which dominate his life. Before you can do this, you must know something about him, so that you will know how to make your approach to his needs and desires. If you're selling air conditioners, you wouldn't talk the same benefits to a grocer as you would to a homeowner. You would first qualify him. After you tell your prospect how he can profit, he still may not buy. He sets up obstacles. He offers objections. He is asking, why can I profit? Your answer to this is a plan of action for him. You come to him not merely with the item you want him to buy, but also with a plan by which he can so handle this item that it will bring him profit. This means that you come to each prospect with a presentation of your product which centers in its unique value for him. It is his situation which dictates just how the product shall be presented to him. You come to him prepared to show him how he can use it to advance his own interests. It is this plan which answers for him the question, why can I profit? By outlining the advantages to be gained and the harms to be avoided. This was done by an appliance salesman in New England. A large, old-fashioned, long-established department store handled his appliances. He wanted them to buy more, but they couldn't buy more unless they could sell more. They had a problem. The young people who bought the great majority of appliances did not frequent this store, even though it long had been a favorite of their grandparents and their fathers and mothers. This problem pointed up a need, modernization. The salesman realized this and sold the head of the store a plan for a modern showroom. Result, the sales of appliances by that dealer increased almost fourfold. With a corresponding increase in the size of the orders they were able and happy to give to the salesman who brought them the worthwhile idea. We come now to the third perceptive question. This is where we talk about quality. It is the third step in a sale. It is not the motivating factor. Many a prospect will admit that what you are selling is tops in quality, but as long as he is satisfied with what he has, he will not buy what you are selling. Though you have told him how he may profit and why he can profit, he still isn't sold. So you must take the next step and answer this third question, where can I profit? You answer this question in two ways, with proof of the quality of what you are selling or by pointing out the defects of what he is now using. For example, to use an appliance salesman again, he was calling on a woman to sell her an electric range. He began his third step by saying, "Did it ever occur to you, Mrs. Wilson, that by still using this old electric range, you are spending twice as much time in the kitchen as you need to spend? With this new range, you can do your cooking and your shopping at the same time. These controls actually watch your cooking for you, without you worrying and checking all the time. You will be able to relax as you save much valuable time for other things." Stress the quality characteristic of your material, your product, your service, or your idea. But always keep in mind that quality of anything has value for your prospect only as it satisfies some specific need of that particular prospect. You are not selling quality in general, but that quality in your product, which will be of particular value to him. Always explain quality in terms of a benefit and a need, which, after you point out to him, he will recognize. You will be sure to carry your prospect along the path leading to a sale if you show him where the quality of your product will benefit him directly or will correct defects rising out of his current buying or use. This procedure answers the question, where can I profit? The prospect now has proof of quality, but he may still hesitate to buy. Therefore, you take the fourth step in your presentation by answering the question now in his mind, who says I profit? Your answer to this question gives the prospect confidence. Since he doesn't always want to learn from his own experience, you give him confidence based upon the experience of others. Take the case of the electric range salesman whom I just told you about. He used the answer to this question, emulate success and avoid errors, very successfully in selling electric ranges. He said, Mrs. Wilson, the results Mrs. Jones is getting with her new range will interest you. She used to have the same model you have, but now she has this latest model I've been telling you about. With her old range, she often forgot to turn off the switch, and her food cooked too long, and sometimes burned. This happened most when she had guests coming for dinner, because she had so many things to do and think about. But with this new model's time and temperature controls, this is not possible. Now she can prepare for her guests in complete confidence that the dinner will be perfect. Every salesman can build a case history of successes and show prospects how to avoid errors by using his product. This will give your prospects confidence in you and your product as you show them how they can profit from the experience of others. Develop interesting statements to prove the success accomplishments of your company and its product, such as, twice as many people have purchased this brand than all other brands. We have an unbroken record of successful service over the past 50 years. Your good friend, Mr. George Brown, purchased this item last year, and his recommendation has sold many of his friends. Why don't you telephone him? I'll step out while you're doing it. You will answer the question, who says I profit, when you bring a prospect, the testimony of the man who is happy in the possession of what you have to sell. Now that you have shown a prospect how he can profit, and have given him a plan to profit based on his needs, shown him the quality of the product and proved it will work, he may still hesitate to buy. He may feel that he will not get enough out of it to justify the cost, or he may think the expense of operating is too high, or he will not make as much profit on resale as he should, and so forth and so forth. So we come to the fifth step in our presentation and answer the question, what do I profit? Selling is the art of convincing the prospect that that which you are offering is worth more than the money it takes to buy it. To prove this, you may have to answer the question, what do I profit, by measuring worth against cost. You can do this by giving your prospect an appreciation of results. These results may be tangible in terms of money, or they may be intangible. Very few of us sell exclusives. Therefore, in answering this question, we must be specific and show how our particular product will best fit his particular needs. Don't evade the question of worth against cost. Get down to brass tacks. Answer, what will I profit from every angle? Paint a glowing picture of the results he will find coming to him. Example, selling gasoline at 4 cents a gallon, profit against gasoline at 5 cents a gallon, profit. The salesman said, which would you rather have, 1 nickel or 10 4-cent pieces? Profit per gallon means nothing. What counts is the number of gallons you sell. A nationwide survey shows that motorists traveling cross-country hesitate to buy gasoline which is not known to them. Only 1 out of 10 buy a brand that is not nationally known. Our brand is not only nationally known, it is the country's biggest seller. Now, having answered 5 of the perceptive questions, the prospect still has not given you a final yes. He has a lingering question, when will I profit? He is asking why now. You answer this question by showing him the benefits he will gain by buying today as against the losses he will suffer by waiting until some future date. Remember at this point, people hate to make decisions, even when the facts indicate that they should. You must help your prospect to decide. If your product or idea offers genuine benefits to him, these benefits are as real now as they will be 6 months or a year from now. You will do him a service by persuading him to enjoy them immediately. Sell yourself on this, and you will convince him. Be prepared to answer the question, when will I profit, with an emphatic now, behind which you put all the conviction of which you are capable. Let's sum up this section. The 6 questions I have discussed will give you answers, not only to selling products, but also to improving all of your contacts with others, in the home, in business, in the community. Memorize them and make them an integral part of your thinking and all of your relationships throughout your life. I promise you that they will guarantee that you will lay a solid foundation for your success in selling, in human relations, and in leadership. When you approach another person to win his attention and interest, remember that there are 5 gateways by which you can gain access to him. He is like a castle with 5 gates. At each of these gates stands a sentinel. What the sentinel rejects never gets in. What the sentinel approves has a favorable introduction. These 5 gateways are the 5 senses: hearing, sight, taste, smell, and touch. Please any of these, and you will get the favorable attention of the other person. Offend any of them, and the other person gets a bad impression of you. This sets up a definite rule of selling. Enlist as many of the 5 senses of your prospect as you can. You naturally appeal to his hearing with your presentation, but plan your presentation to enlist the aid and support of the other 4. Not only talk about what you want to get across, but demonstrate it. In 1926, I took Joe Cope, then planning to open up the Quaker State Oil Company's new distribution operation in Kansas City, to see Ben Bush, president of the Diamond Refining Company. Joe first told Ben about his product. Then he showed him some of his samples. He had now enlisted his ears and eyes. But he went on to say, "Mr. Bush, I wonder whether I might see samples of the oil you are now using." Some were brought in. Joe smelled the oil and felt it between his fingers. Mr. Bush and I did the same. Now smell and touch were also working. Then Joe said, "I wish you would taste it." He put some of his own oil on his finger and tasted it. And then he tasted Bush's oil. Bush and I did the same. He said, "Don't you get a touch of kerosene flavor from your oil?" We agreed that we did. He then had us retaste the Quaker State oil. It was absolutely bland. There was no aftertaste at all. Joe had made a perfect demonstration. He had appealed to all 5 senses. Not only did he sell Mr. Bush, he sold me also. I at once began to use his oil in my car. I don't care what you are selling. You can demonstrate it. Get your prospect into the act. Get all his 5 senses working for you if you can. A little showmanship always helps salesmanship. The more dramatically you demonstrate, the better you will sell. Thinking up ways to demonstrate and perfecting actual demonstrations is one part of selling to which you can well afford to bring all the initiative and imagination you can possibly mobilize. So demonstrate and demonstrate and demonstrate. As I come to the close of this recording, which I hope you have found entertaining, instructive, and helpful, I want to say one more word to you about yourself. You can create one asset which will keep working for you day and night among all the people who have contacts with you. That asset is your reputation. As you sell your product, your service, or your ideas, make every minute and every conversation count in selling yourself. You may ask, how can I sell myself? And I will answer, by making yourself the kind of person whose personality and company bring benefits to your associates. So conduct yourself that your conduct answers the 6 questions which create perceptiveness in all human relations. So handle yourself as husband and father that your wife and children will be glad that you are at home. So work that your employer will know that he benefits from having you with him. Establish with your fellow workers such a relationship that they will enjoy working with you. Be the kind of neighbor who makes his neighborhood a happier place to live in. Each of us is a member of his own personal corporation, I Incorporated. You own all the stock in yours. You have all the management in your own hands. You create your own capital of goodwill, and you draw all the interest of appreciation and friendship. Get yourself on the road to achievement and high reputation today. As you seriously and persistently build your personality and meet others with perceptiveness, you will find yourself able to write your own ticket. As a human being, you will enjoy a sense of achievement and happiness. As a personality, you will win the confidence and admiration of those whose love and friendship mean most in the world to you. Then, too, you will become the master of your fate and the captain of your soul. This is Millard Bennett with best wishes for a wonderful future.